Hi everyone, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to this week's reading. We are going to see what is the most suitable career choice for you based on the talents that you have, the life skills that you have gained, and the experiences that are coming up for you. There can be some indicators, there can be some literal job options for you guys. We'll see what comes up. So we have pile number 1 here, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Make sure to choose your reading with your intuition. If you're not sure how, you can watch the video in the ribbon above and it will walk you through it. And once you've made your choice, the reading for you is in the timestamps in the description box and the comment below. Whenever you're ready, we will get started. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. So let's see what your most suitable career choice could be. What are some recommended career choices and paths for you? So the first 2 cards we have here is the Queen of Cups and we have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, very interesting. This indicates that, charity, humanitarianism, healing, and creative self-expression can be very nice ways for you to earn some steady finance. You seem to be quite talented in the way that you express, and your generosity can reach wide and far, depending on how far you wish to go. This means also the combination is giving me a conventional or a traditional type of healing modality, but we'll get some more cards and get some more hints as well as to what these things could be. The Queen of Cups can talk about psychic, but also Reiki. It can be a therapist as well, counseling, things like that can be very interesting for you, or you're naturally skilled in those things. We do have Moon in Taurus over here with the 6 of Pentacles, which means that you have this talent already within you. It's not something that you necessarily have to study or learn or whatever. You just have it in you, and it's kind of all you need to do is kind of practice and see where it goes, follow through with it, and it will get polished over time. What else can we get for pile number 1, please? What is their ideal career? What is the most suitable career choice? Okay, so let's see. We have the 2 of Swords, Moon in Libra with peace. Then we have the Emperor with Aries. Aries and Libra, that's interesting. You could be Aries or a Libra sign, or this is just talking about how you can assert yourself and create your own structures, maybe have your own business, or this means that you are the authority that other people look to for guidance, especially in cases of dilemma or indecision. When they just don't know what to do and they feel stuck in life, that's when you are able to help them. And I'm loving the presence of twice the moon coming up, because it means that you can emotionally help someone through things. And the last card we have is 4 of Swords, Recovery, Jupiter in Libra. So the Moon and Jupiter in Libra, yes. This is absolutely about being a diplomat as well, a conversationalist, knowing what people are needing and requiring from the situation, of where people are exactly in life, right? With Librans, it's quite important to understand where the other side is coming from. And that's why they have this tendency to kind of make peace with whichever surrounding they're in. Even the fact that there is opposition at any given point is a very natural state of being, because through opposition we can kind of understand ourselves much better. We get perspective because of opposition. So with the 2 of Swords in this particular deck, it's not a very negative connotation as in different decks that I generally use or have seen. This one indicates that sit in that silence, sit in that indecision, and that situation itself is going to bring in the necessary illumination. When nothing can be solved through logic, then comes emotion, then comes intuition, right? Certain things, they just can't be understood with words. So you can even go into law if that's something you're inclined towards, but this could be something related to like family matters or relationships that you're more adept at. Maybe you can find like more harmony and less of the this person should get all of the property and there should be one winner and one loser in every argument, right? You're not like that, or that's not basically the skill set that you carry. This amicable nature and understanding, empathetic spirit that you have, combined with the strength of the emperor and the courage to, take bold actions and assert yourself as being like, nope, we have to reach a middle ground. We cannot have like one person, we can't have an argument completely skewed in one direction, because then it's imbalanced, right? That's when the peace is destroyed. One person winning and the other person losing is not really a net total of win. So in whichever way that you feel is most resonant with you. Some of you could be more emotional in nature compared to being this, being in stressful situations. In that case, you can choose more, empathetic healing modalities. Four of Swords definitely indicates that you might work with sleep therapy or hypnosis. Again, counseling, if you do, you could be really good at calming people down, and especially when people get very frazzled in difficult situations, you can kind of break it down into little pieces and be like, where can you do something and where can you not? If you can't do anything about a certain situation, what's the point of worrying about it? Meanwhile, the things that you can take action on, go ahead and invest in that direction. Okay, so you're definitely being in the center stage here, where people can come to you for your guidance and for your support as well. This ability that you have to understand others and their perspectives, that's such a gift that you can utilize that in almost any career path. But yes, you would need some room to grow. I think a chill work environment where it's not always deadlines, always pressures, unless you yourself decide that is a good idea. But if you feel as though at this moment you're struggling more with indecision, then maybe choosing a guide is a good idea. Okay, someone who is a more professional, career counselor, they could help you out in deciding, because you might be skilled at multiple things. That's another thing that happens with Librans, that they're just very skilled. They can be empathetic, yes, but they can also work under direction. So, all career options can seem very open. In that case, a proper career counselor can absolutely help you out. Or if you look up to someone in your life, you have an authority figure who has kind of got their stuff together, you can go and ask them for guidance as well. Be open to receiving, but ultimately I'm still sensing that you need to make a decision for yourself, because this is a life that you have chosen, and the consequences of this life are going to be on you, not someone else. Okay, but at the same time, if you're already in a specific career path and all of this is already resonating with you, this is just emphasizing that your perspective is extremely valuable, and you empower people in a very gentle manner, that too, to take matters into their own hands and not freak out if something does not work the first time, or if you make, let's say, the wrong choice. It's okay, we can always correct the course. It's not the end of the road. With the Two of Swords, we generally feel like, okay, it's either this decision or that, and if I do this, then all hell will be lost, and meanwhile if I choose this, it's glory upon glory. But that's not always the case. It's the Two of Swords. There's the 3 and the 4 and the 5 and the 6, the whole bunch of sword suit to go after. So this is not the end of the story, basically. Okay, so if there are certain things that don't work out, it's okay. Use that as leverage and stand up on it. Use that and transform that. The Three of Swords comes after the Two of Swords, and that can indicate disappointment, right? And losses of some type, and that can be ego losses too, where you thought that you need absolute fame and this much K or millions or whatever the case is. That can be very ego driven and ego based, and I'm not saying that that's bad if that's an authentic expression of what you actually want or what someone else actually wants. That's not a problem. But when it is inauthentic, that's when the disappointment occurs, because even if you have a whole bunch of money, it's not going to be as satisfying, because that's not what you were truly seeking. If you were truly seeking finance, then so be it. That's where you will feel happy. So the Three of Swords is not always that, your life is lost. Once again, 3 is not the end of the story. Then comes the Four of Swords, which is here. So bring peace to yourself. You don't have to go to a pitfall to recognize that you can come to a state of peace and kind of surrender, right? Recovery is like rest a moment, understand yourself, see where you're coming from, be compassionate with yourself while you're going through your healing journey, right? So if you are resonating with being a healer, you absolutely have this type of process. It's okay to not know at certain times. We can't always know everything all the time, right? We simply don't have that type of capacity nowadays. If we meditate all the time and if we are like fully in that vibe, then maybe yes, and many people do have that skill, but oftentimes we just don't have that perspective. So it's okay. We don't need to beat ourselves up and shame ourselves or guilt ourselves in any way. So this compassionate, empathetic side that you have, combined with the motivational spirit and the go-getting spirit that you have, that is the absolute magic. Okay, find a place where you can exercise these things, and that's why I said that you need your own space in some way. The Four of Swords is like, this is my bubble, I'm going to be here, I'm safe here, I'm protected here, and that's where you can feel more free to express who you really are. Gorgeous. Okay, let's get some more cards for pile number 1, please. What's the most suitable career choice for them? We have Creator Fire, which corresponds with the Emperor energy. That's motivation, passion. Queen of Cups is also creative, and if you are more creative in nature and you don't want to be healing other people, that's fine too. This indicates you absolutely have a lot of skill, and again, you might have too many skills and you're like, oh, I don't know what to put together. This is saying that you need to combine the fire where you feel just passionate, and it can be a bit of a challenge and you have to kind of strive and pursue towards achieving a desired effect, but at the same time you're chill while doing that. It's not a competition. You don't have to finish everything at a given time necessarily. You don't have to do things for other people necessarily. So making logos for another company, if you don't enjoy that, then you're not going to enjoy the process, even if it is a challenge or even if you're learning a lot of new skills, right? So finding the combination of these things is very important for you. Also, I'm also getting that you will create your own fire as you do that. So your energy will not be depleted. You will make and generate your own energy. So you're putting in passion, okay? And while you're putting in, that thing is bringing in that joy and passion and life as well. The fire indicates your soul expression too. It corresponds with Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So passion, creativity, self-expression. This is how the soul is, expressing itself. The soul has infinite knowledge. It has so much wisdom. It has lived many lives and all of that. And with Creator Fire, it is able to channel that inherent potential into something that can be more tangible or realized, and by doing so it experiences a lot of joy because I can do this too. I have this skill as well. That's interesting. I didn't see this perspective before. That's exciting, right? And if you're in a situation where you feel stuck, that you kind of have to rely on someone else and doing the job for someone else for some income here, this is still indicating find some time, even if it's like 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Work with what you already have. It's not about getting from 0 to 100 in one day. That's impossible. That does not happen in our world, unfortunately. Okay, but that doesn't mean, again, that everything is lost. Work with what is already available to you. You do have 5 minutes a day. You do have 10 minutes a day, whatever the case is, right? And utilize those things because time doesn't matter. It's not that you have to meditate for 15 minutes and then it is effective. It's not like that. It's the quality of meditation that you do in that time. Some people who are more adept at meditating, who just the moment they close their eyes, they're extremely focused, right? They're more skilled at that. 1 minute is potent. Meanwhile, for beginners, 1 minute might be like, well, you were just thinking about your laundry and your dishes, right? So whatever you are doing, you can still translate whatever time you have remaining towards your passion, because again, you will be revitalized by it. That can act as a rest thing. It's a hobby, it's a creation, it's a creative spirit where you can see, okay, if I can do this much in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 minutes a day, I wonder what I can do with an hour, right? And you don't have to manufacture time, okay? You don't have to sacrifice everything else and all of that. That's not what's coming through. As long as you try to make space from your side, more will come. Okay, more will come, more will happen, because you are generating more life into your life by making space for it. And you can contribute this. If you're already doing all of this, you can absolutely contribute this skill of yours, these tips that you have maybe, and that can help out so many types of people around the world, or in your personal counseling, whatever it is you do or are inclined to do. Exciting, very exciting. Let's take this one, sticking to my finger. Okay, we have get back to elemental. Yeah, returning to the basics is what I call it all the time, but it also says like ground yourself, come to a state of peace and relaxation, bring peace and relaxation to others. This can also be like, generally when we are like going back and forth in our mind, like this or that or this or that, many of these things escalate without us realizing into something very for lack of a better word, nonsensical. Sometimes we just overthink and we just spin out of control, and we don't realize that, and everybody does this. That's kind of the beauty and the flaw of the mind, right? So the get back to elemental says, okay, let's just stop with all the complications. Let's think about the most basic thing we can do. What's the least that can be done? The least, be lazy, think lazy. What's the least that can be achieved or that can be done today? Okay, and start from there, because that really adds the proactivity. It really does, honestly, right? If you imagine that that's what it does, it brings you back to earth, it helps you get out of your mind, and it helps you start doing something. And the fact that you did something is going to be very satisfying for you, and you will not think, oh no, I did not spend 1 hour on this. The fact that you did something, that itself, you're going to pat yourself on the back, because that's something you were meaning to do for quite some time. And you are someone that could give this advice to other people as well. Okay, so I'm getting that you give a lot of practical guidance and tips where you can deal with the topsy-turviness of the mind and bring more peace and relaxation to the heart, to the mind as well, and engage the intuition and also take action. You have a very good balance of the third chakra, your third chakra. Let me see, 1, 2, yes, your third chakra, which is your solar plexus, and your heart as well, the fourth, and your sixth, yes, your third eye. These 3 things are very engaged for you at this time, and you are able to help guide others through that by using these skills. Okay, now let's get you some oracle messages. Yes, most suitable career choice. Oh goodness, not this deck today. Let's use this one. Most suitable career choice for pile number 1, please. Oh, very similar themed cards you got. It's interesting. Where should I put this? Alright, so we have the presence of love will always cast out fear, and the universe has my back. Yes, that again, letting go and trusting in the process of things. That's absolutely very important. And I'm seeing that majorly these are darker cards, and this indicates darker thoughts, negative thoughts. When you are able to illuminate those things and exist with those things without trying to resist, that's when the healing happens. That's where the surrender happens. And if you can be at home in the darkness, and I'm not saying be comfortable with fear or be comfortable with being insecure, that's not what I'm saying. That the fact that often we resist Like, no, I'm not insecure. I have to stop being insecure. I have to stop being afraid. I have to stop this. That's a resistance. Just acknowledge that, yes, I am afraid about this because of so and so reasons, right? There are some reasons behind how you feel. So don't, invalidate your own feelings or your own reactions. They exist for a reason. And if you do not like the reaction to it, that can be changed. But fear is, it happens once in a while. It happens. And the way to deal with it is just, understand whether you can do something about it or you cannot. If you cannot do something about it, being afraid also is not going to have any point, right? But if you can do something, then go ahead and do those things and pursue the things that you enjoy and are passionate about. And like I said, once you start doing 1 minute a day of creativity, 2 minutes a day of meditation, whatever it is that you are more inclined to do here, it slowly will dissipate all of the overthinking and the fears, because you just don't think about that in the moment. You're passionate about it, right? So once you start doing that, like I said, you won't think, oh no, I did not do 1 hour and I should have done this much. I'm supposed to do this much. The internet says I should meditate for 15 minutes every day. Oh no, I did not achieve that. You will not think that because you tried. Okay? Give yourself credit, trust in your intuition, believe in your flow, and go for whatever it is that you want. Okay? Bit by bit. I'm not saying drastically just upheaval your life. No, okay, that's not the point. It's about getting yourself on board, getting other people on board. So the way that you would guide or counsel other people or heal other people would be take your time. You cannot rush the healing process. That absolutely cannot be done. So let's go with the flow. Let's understand the situation. Let's be accepting of what is going on and then work with what we have. Okay? Very nice stuff. Let's see your astro dice. What else do we get for pile number 1? Career choice. What's the most suitable career choice, please? We have the South Node, first house, and we have Libra. So this indicates you are in that guiding position. South Node in Libra is like you have the resource. You have this inherent skill that you've learned from perhaps your past lives or in your childhood. You're already naturally skilled at being diplomatic, at, legal things, also forming harmony, creating relationships and connections between people. And the first house is you, right? You have lots of artistic skills and creative talents as well. Your expression can be very appealing to other people. It's just a matter of channeling it, right? It's about channeling it. With South Node, things need to be released. So release indecision, which is a shadow quality of Libra. Release the need to be someone else. That is also a shadow quality, especially when in childhood it was taught to us that no, what you are is not that great and you have to be something else in order to earn money or to have stability in life, to be happy in life, to have peace in life. You need to stop being you and start being someone else in order to be appreciated. That's when we start, depleting our own sense of self. We're like, oh, we're not good enough, and then the reaction happens of, I don't want to put myself in situations that is me, because then I will find out that I'm not good enough, just as my parents said, or just as society dictated while I was growing up. It's a subconscious thought, but it absolutely happens depending on the conditioning. So there are some things that need to be let go and released in order to bring about a better sense of self. And this does not mean you will lose your qualities if you let go of this point and start following the Aries North Node. Instead, it will actually make you a better you, in the sense you're more authentic to yourself. You feel much better. You are in more balance with the skills that you already have. You can be yourself. You can also understand other people. So you kind of transform that fear by understanding yourself, by thinking about situations, and bring more peace to you and translate that to empowering other people. Okay, I did mention Aries North Node. I think this Aries Libra situation, if you're watching this when I'm posting, then Aries and Libra North and South Node is going to occur in July, mid of July, and it is going to stay there for 1.5 years. So I think these are going to be very important years for you, especially if you have Aries or Libra rising. But even if you don't, in the areas of your life that you have Aries and Libra, that is going to be very lit up, and it really brings into focus how we relate with ourselves and how we relate with other people. Where are we releasing or relinquishing and sacrificing ourselves where we don't need to? So in that process, we empower ourselves, yes, and at the same time we improve our relationships because we rely less on other people's validation or criticism or any feedback, honestly. And that does not mean that we're like, well, your opinion does not matter, I don't care if I helped you or not. That's a bit too far. The other extreme is not always the best idea, right? But yes, much better balance forming over here. And I think this would be a very pivotal time for you where you decide more about your career. Yes, so that's what I have for you, pile number 1. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading was insightful, that you found it useful. Please let me know your thoughts, and you can connect with me via Etsy if you want a personal reading. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye. Hi Pile 2, welcome to your reading. Let's see what your ideal career path is, or rather the most suitable career choice for you. Let's see what we get. Some options could come in, but also we can talk about what skills you naturally have, and then you can see more specifically what exactly applies to you. So we have the Chariot coming up first with Cancer. Then we have the Two of Cups, Venus in Cancer, again twice Cancer, interesting. And we also have the Two of Wands, Mars in Aries, Dominion. Okay, let's get a couple more cards. This interesting combination. Running, athlete, something like that coming in here. Okay, let's get 2 more cards for pile number 2, please. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles and also the Four of Cups with Moon in Cancer. There's so much Cancer energy. Okay. So this is about, well, nurturing is one of those things that Cancer is representing. Caring, nurturing, providing, protecting, healing. What else? Collaboration, connecting with people, family healing. Okay, family healing. I'm just like, whatever is coming to mind, I'm just putting it out there. Interior design. Okay, interior design, home transformations, care, so like how to care for the self. That can be a skill you teach, like that's very important, right? Nourishment, and so nutrition and self-healing, family dynamics, personal health, and the health of the collective. That's very important. So I think one of these things can already be calling out to you as, that's interesting, I should try that out. Now the Two of Wands indicates that you're likely to have multiple career paths or multiple choices that could resonate with you. One is something that is relatively safer or something you're used to doing. Meanwhile, another choice can come up which is seemingly more exciting. Even with the Four of Cups, it indicates that yes, you have something stable, and perhaps you already have some type of family business that you could move towards, or a family career path that kind of everybody does, and you're expected to follow the same route. That can be an option, and you're naturally good at that too. So it's not really a bad option, really, you can do it. But at the same time, I think you're looking for something that's more of has an oomph factor for you, like something different and coloring outside the lines, kind of having a bit of a challenge as well. But maybe working from home is a good idea as well. With Cancer, home and family is just very dominant. Okay, so it can be that what your family has already provided, let's say the family business, that can be a very good option for you to like move ahead. And it doesn't mean that you have to stay there, because you won't, because the Two of Wands indicates that you can take what is there and you can expand it in a new direction as well, or you can be fully in charge of that, so you kind of decide where the direction is headed. With Chariot, I'm constantly hearing trajectory, as if that's the path itself is important. That's what I hear. the path itself is important rather than the goal. And that's something that's kind of matches up with the Cancerian energy as well as Aries. Everything over here is a cardinal sign except the Queen of Pentacles. And cardinal signs are all about taking action and pursuing goals. With Cancerians, they're always on the go. Like if you ever visit their house, you might be a Cancer Sun Moon rising, and I might be describing you at this point, but if you've known someone who's a Cancerian, they are always there. If they adore you, they just adore you. You can live in their space, you can feel at home, and it's like they just want to make food for you all the time, or they want to make sure that you're sitting well, that there's no dust and nothing is bothering you. It's so hard for them to like just sit back and relax and just let it go, right? That's something they struggle with because they care so deeply, they care so much about whoever they care about. But at the same time, if they have very good boundaries as well, if they don't care about someone or someone's opinion, then they know how to like block that out. They're like, I don't need that in my space. I don't need that in my vibe. Cancer is a water sign as well, so the vibe is especially important. So that's why I was getting the interior design, a home design, architecture as well can be something that you are good at, or you have this natural skill. Maybe you've not explored that yet, but in your head, in your imagination, maybe that speaks very truly to you. And I'm hearing that you can try those things, but I guess you have to like go at it not bit by bit, but kind of it has to work parallel to something that is more secure. Perhaps you have that need too, and based on the cards, that's not a bad idea. Okay. The Four of Cups also says that be grateful for what is there right now, because that itself can lead to more. Magic is in the present moment. So when you appreciate the right now, you're basically giving thanks for the future. Like more, I'm not saying that what is now is going to remain in the future, because nothing is stagnant, but whatever things you do appreciate in the current moment, those things are getting amplified each and every time. On the contrary, if you are thinking negatively or feeling unfulfilled by just about everything, then more of that gets amplified, right? It's the state of mind in the present moment that is determining which path that you choose to go towards. And it's not like some esoteric presence is going to direct your life. It's not in a fateful sense that I'm speaking, but rather our actions and intentions and words as well change based on how we are feeling in a current time. If you're feeling moody, you're less likely to be like, yeah, let's go for a movie, let's go have fun, right? If you're feeling more excited or passionate, or you're feeling more at peace, you're like, yeah, we can hang out, we can go and spend a nice time. You are more likely to have open communication and open heart-to-heart conversation with someone else, right? So the same thing is applying to your career here, that you have to be in that state of gratitude in the present moment for whatever it is that does make you feel grateful. It can be the small little things like, I love the flowers in my house, or I love my family, people, I love the room I'm in, I have designed this so well, the picture on the wall is so inspiring. It can be very small things that can, as you notice them, instead of ignoring them as, oh well, it has always been here, then you can really see the value of each and everything. I'm constantly looking at the Queen of Pentacles here, and it indicates that you have to take care of yourself, nurture yourself before you can take care of others, because otherwise you're depleting your energy and therefore you can't give very well. So being a nurse or being in a service type of situation of any sort, it is especially important that you be of service to yourself first. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's important to make space for yourself and create a home for yourself before you can do that same thing for other people. I'm saying you're pile number 2. You have 2 of Cups here, 2 of Wands over here. So 2, 2, 2 coming in. Working with someone else, collaboration can be very important. Having a business partner could be a good idea here. And even there, it is absolutely important that you take care of yourself so that the relationship is not hampered or it does not skew in one direction. Or the other. Like one person need not have too much power over the work dynamic. Travel comforts as well. That can be something you might be interested in, like hospitality for, maybe flight, right? The food that's available for flights, or like, canteen or tiffin services or something like that, where you have the skill with the materials you have in front of you, and you know how to create comfort through food, through drinks, through space. Everything is at your disposal. And the Queen of Pentacles also indicates that you can earn some big bucks through doing all of these things, and it's just a matter of taking the initiative to explore a different path. Because first of all, be grateful for what is already here, right? That's like step number one. And the second is to not hold yourself back when you want to explore something else. And in the process, it's ultimately important that you take care of you, because you are the star here. Okay, you are the pivot. I'm also loving the 4 over here, though, even though it says apathy, and the 4 of Cups generally symbolizes, that you're feeling a little bit meh or something like that. But I'm feeling very nice about that, because it indicates that there is stability. It's not always possible. There are so many people who don't have stability in life and who are just happy to have that much, to have a sense of security. That's enough, and that's happiness, and that's joy. So being appreciative of that helps you climb up the ladder, okay, and climb up in a very secure manner to the next stages, where you can explore new ideas, you can connect with different people, and you can even I'm also getting like matchmaking or dating services. With the 2 of Cups there, you could be very good at like understanding who would be a good match. I think you're very natural at that too. Maybe you've set up some of your friends and it has gone really well. Yeah, something like that. And it might feel like a very risky thing, like something that's very unconventional or just very out there. But at the same time, you feel very comfortable in that state of being. So if that's resonating with you, maybe try that out. Okay. Let's see some more cards for pile number 2, please. Most suitable career choices. Working with materials. And food is like the ultimate nourishing and nutrition as well. So I think that is something coming in. Okay, we have Prosperity Sisters, Our Happiness and Joy, card number 36. And let me get the other one. We have Find Your Sacred Flow, which is again the water element, trusting your intuition, going with the flow, creating harmony in a space. I'm also getting the feng shui, like taking care of the energy flow within the house. Maybe you're very adept at that. You can feel that something's off and you just twist the armchair and you're like, yeah, much better. Okay, because just how the air flows, I think you're more sensitive to that. Now, Prosperity Sisters, Our Happiness and Joy indicates that whatever you do out of joy, and that talks about like anything, right? Not just the things that you imagine you would be good at, but the things you already have but have not been appreciated to the fullest, or you've not recognized them yet, or whatever the case is, right? Or it has become stagnant and you want to add a little bit more spark or flavor into that. Either way, it just indicates that prosperity, finances, and also, good relationships are going to arrive as you start doing things from a place of joy instead of a place of dread or like, ugh, this again, and that like applies for anything. And that's why I said like it's the small little things that can make things quite different, like adding a picture frame if you're more sentimental, seeing people that you care about, even if you're not with them physically, that can help you get motivated, or taking a bit of a walk. Some people really like it to put a bit of water near the table or at the corner of the table, working in different places as well. But this also corresponds with the 3 of Cups and 3 of Pentacles, which means you can collaborate with your siblings. Maybe that is something you could work on, maybe combined business, especially if we're talking about the family business situation. But also it can talk about, you know, collaborating with other people, having a nice system that's going on. So you have a supplier, you have a manufacturer, you have the people who send things to places. So you can have like physical products if that's something that resonates, like for interior design, for example. And even if you're servicing food, even there, like you need someone to like carry it there. You can't do each and everything. Initially, maybe you will have to put on different hats, but I feel like you will find a flow and a rhythm to it. It's just that when orders are mounting up, or you have many people who are appreciating you and many people are wanting your attention, that's when, you know, you might feel a little bit torn, or that you're spread out too thin. That's why this guidance is extremely important to take on board from the get-go. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're nourishing yourself and financing yourself, saving up for you, investing in your future, in your desires, and it will keep growing because you are feeling good, right? That's like very important. I can't keep emphasizing that because that's really what is bookending the reading. And everything in between is just saying, yep, keep going, try out new things, incorporate and integrate different things, take the opinions or showcase your skills to the people who are supportive and loving to you. And care for your emotional well-being is just keeps coming up. And if you're resonating with the family, relationships, therapy, or the matchmaking idea, this can also be that you have many feelers out, or you have a very natural skill at like forming connections and relationships with people. So you have just people in like different locations, and you can be like, okay, someone's like looking for this kind of house or this kind of partner, or they're having some relationship issues, and this is not my area of expertise, so maybe you can do this family counseling, you know, something like that, where your referrals are as well very useful. And this network that you create, it helps you reach different levels of prosperity. Okay, let's see what else is coming up for pile number 2, please. We have, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. This again, that self-care and self-love is coming through. You could be a teacher of all of these things as well. The queens are always like, they're nurturing teachers and guides. They lead through, you know, by kind of doing those things themselves. Okay, they lead by example. You can see and feel from their presence that they are preaching what they practice. Wow. Okay. What else? For pile number 2, please. One more card. The universe works fast when I'm having fun. Yes, absolutely. Bringing joy to others, bringing joy to yourself. That's ultimately very useful. Being creative with your space, with your vibe, with whatever products you have maybe, or the work that you do, putting a little bit of your spin in it, or thinking of it differently, shifting your perspective. That's very that can be very beneficial in finding more clarity. Now, because there are so many cardinal signs, I don't think there is a lack of focus, but the downfall of cardinal signs can be that they're too focused in one particular direction, that they don't notice the periphery. Like, imagine the horses, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the horses who drive the chariots, they have these masks on the side of their head to make them focus only in front instead of looking to the sides, because otherwise they can get very distracted. Okay, but at the same time, like, that happens only, that can be useful only if the charioteer is actually looking everywhere. But in this particular imagery, it shows that the horse itself is driving, so the risk of getting distracted again becomes a thing. But at the same time, because we're talking about a cardinal sign, it is more so about where are you going, like what is the purpose, is that purpose aligned with where you are, because you can move fast Okay, you can move fast. Once you decide, or once you commit to something, you're going to be in it for a long haul. But with the Two of Wands and the twos that are there, it's basically saying explore your options at this point. You don't need to commit to something at this point necessarily. You will in the future, for sure, but at this point, feel things out, explore things. Don't be too focused on one particular thing, but at the same time, don't spread yourself too thin. Because this exploration is going to bring in connections and opportunities that you can integrate to what is already available. And that's also why I think that being grateful for what is already present is going to help you recognize what gems to keep and what things are just not aligned. It just opens up our heart and our mind. It does not mean that, you don't notice the flaws anymore. You still can, but it takes on a more proactive flavor, right? Okay, adding some creativity as well. If cooking is fun for you, then, do that. Basically, the universe works fast when you're having fun. Amazing. Okay, what else do we see for pile number 2? Most suitable career choice. We have the Moon and Leo in the 7th house. Yeah, the matchmaking, relationships, forming connections and collaborations, business partnerships. These are very good ideas, and you're naturally inherently quite creative as well. You can create connections effortlessly. I think other people enjoy your company, and they appreciate your contribution and passion as well. You can even motivate and inspire other people. Yeah, other people get inspired by you. That's the combination here. It's not that you're trying to inspire them. They just get inspired by you doing you. You being yourself and doing your thing. Other people will get inspired, and before you know it, you're leaving your mark. Okay, right opposite Cancer is Capricorn, and whenever we talk about oppositions, it doesn't mean that they're completely different, because otherwise they won't have any relationship. The fact that there is a relationship means that there are some things in common, but they take on different ways of approaching that same situation. So Cancer and Capricorn both want to take action towards creating long-lasting stability and strength. Right? So whatever it is you are doing, but Cancer is more like home and family. Let's figure out the roots first, right? We can't make a tree without first establishing the roots. So, but while you do establish the roots, what you're actually doing is creating a legacy. But it starts from the bottom up. That's why when you are being successful, you are being successful. When you're being in that vibe of I'm open to receiving, I'm grateful for what I have, I'm thankful that I have received all of these things, so I have faith that I will have more, that I can have connections. I am lovable, I am loved. Recognizing your abundance, your prosperity, your beauty, your stamina, everything brings in more of those things, because it's a recognition of who you already are. We just put on a lot of masks and we're like, no, I'm not that brave. No, I'm not this. But given situations, let's say you think that you're too shy. Let's just take that as an example. Or, let's say you feel you're not brave enough to take risks. Okay, you would rather be safe, but we need to take risks in order to be successful. But think of a scenario where one of your loved ones is stuck in a difficult situation and they call you. Would you not go for them? Would you not try to save them from their situation? Would that not be a risk? So we are all risk taking. It's just a different situation under which we express that quality. It doesn't mean that we don't have it. Okay? Yes, and many times we kind of respond to what society dictates, or the media says that this is the circumstance under which you must be risk-taking, only then you are risk-taking, or this is the way that you must appear in order to qualify as beautiful, otherwise you're trash. They don't literally say that, I know, but That's the implication, right? So if you're responding to what others have to say or what the impression is, this indicates that you're moving out of that you will move out of it inevitably. Other people can be a very large contributor in this transformation, but as you do that, as you strip back the layers of, programming and, other ways of being, you become more and more you. And what you already are is very abundant, very gorgeous, and absolutely very lovable and caring. And that's why you're forming these relationships here, not only for yourself, but also other people. Okay, very lovely. So that's what I have for you, pile 2. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out, that you found it insightful. Let me know your thoughts, and if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So let's get into what would be the most suitable career choice for you. Let's see the first 2 cards, and then we'll get some more. We have the Emperor coming through, which represents Aries. And we also have the Star representing Aquarius. Okay, let's get 3 more cards. Yes, 3 more cards, please, for pile number 3. Most suitable career choice for pile number 3, please. Okay, what do we have here? The 10 of Swords. We also have the 8 of Swords. 10 of Swords is Sun in Gemini. 8 is Jupiter in Gemini. 1 more card, please. No, I just want 1. Yes. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups coming up. The Lost. Okay, so Knight of Cups is a combination of the air suit as well as the water signs. And we have another air sign here with Aquarius and 2 Geminis. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, these could be some signs that you resonate with or are going to be an important component in your career path. Communication and thought process is very important. Journalism is something I'm getting. Also taking initiative, kind of strategy, invention, innovation. What else? Passing on knowledge. Oh my goodness, yes. Passing on knowledge is something very, very pivotal here that's coming in. Dissipating ignorance. So through journalism or other things that you find suitable, the purpose is to bring kind of intelligent healing to humanity. Aquarius is always like very oriented towards that, the big picture thinking, and how humanity itself like gets some things wrong and kind of traps itself in ongoing situations. So I think you can see beyond the illusion and you kind of close out that cycle. So you're very good at seeing reality and bringing reality checks to people. But because with the Knight of Cups here, you can do this in a very soothing manner. But at the same time, you can be very clear and direct about what exactly is stopping someone. Okay, so thought process, cognitive behavioral therapy, that can be something you're interested in. Or yes, journalism, like I mentioned. Also brainstorming sessions, maybe you have some techniques that you yourself implement in getting yourself out of negative thinking patterns, because Aquarius, I've noticed that they get caught up in things that don't really matter right now. Meanwhile, Gemini gets caught up in not thinking about the future at all and instead only focusing on the right now. So the combination of all of this is just very wonderful, because that way you get the blessings of both. But I think you've also experienced the shadow sides of both, especially if you are an air sign. But you've learned through those things and you have risen above it. The 10 of Swords is like you're done with the old chapter of not thinking coherently or in a streamlined manner, if you've taken on more responsibilities and obligations on yourself, or you've taken other people's words to heart, then I think you've gone through a healing procedure. And if you already are, then you're going to come out the other side very soon. And this is then going to be a very nice standing point where on which you can stand as you propel yourself in your career path. The Emperor is very direct, we already saw that, but also is courageous, takes a bit of a risk, and goes for what the goals are. The pursuit is just very loud and clear for Aries. And the passion is the drive. And the Knight of Cups is as well very passionate, but in a different way. Knight of Cups is not very fiery, just like Emperor is, but it does get passionate about kind of helping people or healing people or being creative about something. Research, invention, that's also really standing out. But with the Emperor, it can be that you are managing your own work, or you are leading a project, or leading your team, something like that. But you want to invent for improving humanity. Maybe you've seen the dark sides of research, innovation, and expansion of humanity. Of course, like development and expansion, acceleration, all of these things are termed to be quite nice, but if we accelerate beyond what is true to us or is our actual speed, then it can feel very overwhelming very fast, right? So for example, like a grade 2 child cannot, it's not always very common, or it should not be a norm or an expectation that they are studying college level education, right? So pushing the kid to know more things before its brain is able to handle in that time, or is experienced to understand in that particular stage of life, is unfair to the 2-year-old or the second grader, whatever. Right? So the same goes, I think you can see that we are accelerating beyond what we can handle, and that affects you quite deeply. Yes, you might feel at a loss or disillusioned at how the world is, or how technology is, how social media is, something like that, and you want to be that force for good. You want to create a pivot or a change. You want to create some type of ending to what is running along so far. So I think expressing and showcasing your thoughts in a well put manner, for example, writing articles or blogs, these can be some things that you can do that can get the reality kind of out, especially if you have more insider info. The 8 of Swords can mean that some things that are within a structure, let's say within a company, and it might be confidential information, but that's not really benefiting anybody, and that can lead to some mental stresses. This could be something in the past, but can be also ongoing. I'm not really sure what timeline you are on, but regardless, this is going to be something that a realization that is very important in leading you towards this new direction, where you innovate yourself and you don't think like you are taught to think, but instead see the higher version of humanity, or higher version of what we can be developing towards. That's where the optimistic side of things comes in with the Knight of Cups here. Is they're like, okay, well, I know that a lot of things are scattered and not kind of helping each other. They're just harming. Self-harming is what this 8 of Swords is, interfering with each and everything, and thoughts running out of control, thoughts running wild. But it's not all bad. The Knight of Cups is like, there's still feeling, there's still compassion in the world, there's still people who heal or who want to heal, and ultimately, we can't just ignore our inherent need to be caring and to be taken care of, or to love and be loved, right? So I think that faith comes in through your emotions. So that's going to be a very strong asset. So you can showcase this artistically, like making political memes, for example, or if not political, it is still like, this is reality, what we expect versus what is, or not only means, but like through artwork and through crafts and other demonstrations, I'm getting that you have a very different, very unique way of expressing your perspective on the world, and that's what's very important to your career. Okay. And I'm sensing that you can do this in your own time as well. It does not have to be in a specific structure or a unit that you have to go about, but you are a fixed sign, and I'm not sure if you are a fixed sign. I don't know why I said that. I'm getting so many air signs here. I feel as though what you believe in, you absolutely believe in. That's the impression I'm getting from you. So because you have that type of mentality, you will inevitably create structures around things that you're passionate about. Also, I'm getting that if you suppress your thoughts or your ideas, it will keep circulating and become a self-harming situation. So if you feel like something is not right, you'll keep feeling it, but on the surface you're like, no, everything's fine, no, everything is fine. That means you're denying yourself, you're invalidating your thoughts, you're invalidating your feelings as well, right? So that's where the trouble comes in, where you might feel at a loss and as though there's nowhere to go, or confusion of what do you try. Maybe there's too much on your plate, things like that, and that can like scatter your focus, which I'm sensing is not really your favorite place to be. And that's why the star comes in here, as the universe knows your potential and your soul is kind of guiding you out of this situation, out of a rut or a stuckness, into some place that you can be empowered. But also don't invalidate the negative influences or the difficult emotions and times that we deal with, because they honestly act as a pedestal on which we are springboarding off of. Okay. And once we springboard off that, like if you know that this is not working, you are not going to revert to that behavior. You learn that this perspective does not lead to anything empowering. It does not lead to anything good. Or these types of communication, or the way we interact with our own community, be it digital or physical, that is not helping anybody grow or feel nice or anything, right? So when you realize or recognize that, you can shift it. So maybe social media managing and communications expert, something like that can come in here. But again, your perspective, your take is what is going to make you successful. Okay, let's get some more information. For pile number 3, please, their most suitable career choice. Oh wow, okay. We have Creator Earth and Creator Water. That reality check is just again coming through the Creator Water. You can kind of liberate people. There is like a bad rap that we get when we talk about reality check. It's as though all of the fantasy and imagination just disappears and everything is just cold hard truths, but that's not always the case, right? Because if you're always in the state of illusion, then you don't even know that not you specifically, but in general, people, if you don't even know that you're taking in toxins or that you're surrounded by toxicity, and instead in that illusion you're like, oh, maybe it's my fault, maybe it's just me causing all of these problems in my life, and I should blame someone. That's also an illusory thing. Fear is an illusion as well. So reality check is like, you are not a victim. You can do things about things. If you're not happy with your circumstances, figure out what can be changed instead of beating yourself down, things like that. Those are also reality checks, right? So I think you're one of those who can really deliver that reality in a very nice, well-packaged form. The Creator Water indicates you're very compassionate and empathetic about people's situation. You understand why someone would be a certain way or why someone would think a certain way, because you have been there in some form. Okay, so you know what would be helpful to someone else who's stuck in a certain situation. You might be more practical in the way that you give advice, but also you're very compassionate. You're not dictatorial in a way that, okay, if you just do this and everything will be solved. Okay, not like that, because you're again open to understanding and talking to people and understanding what their struggles are. But I feel like you have such a good talent to listen to difficult stories and not be wavered by that. You don't take it on you. Okay, the only flaw that water signs have is that, not the only, but one of the flaws that water signs have, which can become a little bit dominant, especially in younger ages, is that they soak up the vibes. They soak up. If they're surrounded by negativity, they can become very negative. When things are fine, then things are really fine. Okay, but the thing with air signs is that they don't take it in them. They understand, but they can be very objective as a viewer. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, all of these guys, they can see the other perspective but not become that. That's the light side. That's the empowered side here. Okay, so I feel as though your transformations are leading you to the point where you have become this, or you are going to become this, where you can become the leader here. You can offer some piece of guidance that is going to help others who are in a similar situation in a very empathetic and loving way, and that's very much appreciated. I love the creator energies here. It means that you generate your career. It can be that you become your own boss, or you have your own business. Maybe you're offering guidance and counseling, consultations as well as possible for other social media, platforms, smaller platforms who are trying to grow and make their own thing. Maybe you have more technological expertise and you can offer some, innovative solutions to how they can make their platforms a bigger thing. So consultations is as well an option, but depends on your experience, of course. So take it as it resonates. Let's see some more cards. Pile number 3, please. Most suitable career choice for pile number 3. One more. Yes. We have the presence of love will always cast out fear, and happiness is my birthright. This is literally the reality check situation happening here. How to, we can't just have like blanket statements for everything. Generalization does not always work because everyone's unique, everyone's an individual, and Aries and Aquarius, both of them respect that very, very much. I think that is the trophy, that's the thing about them that's just very inspiring to humanity. That's kind of the one of the lessons that they teach among the zodiacs, that be you and be yourself and don't be apologetic about that. So fear is that illusion, as I was mentioning before, and love or truth and light and all of these things, they are the things that can cast it out. When you see the truth or you understand the truth, it kind of is liberating. Not kind of, it is liberating, because it just kind of melts away all of the fears connected to the principal fear as well. It's like epiphanies. You can provide epiphanies to people. Okay, that yes, you can do things, yes, you can be happy in any given moment because of however, like you are the one with the tips about all of these things, but I think you have this power of deep transformation and healing, which can connect with other people's hearts. Maybe your story itself has lots of major lessons that can be helpful and empowering to many others. I'm hearing success story. So I think your success story can lead to other success stories. So express it. Don't stifle your voice. Do not stifle your voice. Okay. What else do we get for pile number 3, please? We have Pisces, Pluto, and the 9th house. Wow. Okay. So you can... this can be removing illusions from belief systems, from conditioning, of society. This ninth house is like big picture stuff as well, just like Aquarius, but a little bit different, of course. Belief systems and even religion and spirituality. If there are some things which are just too good to be true and it has become very prevalent, and you have a more realistic touch to it or a different way of looking at things, that is very valuable because it can add a new information to what already exists, but it gives a different look at what spirituality is, or what religion can be, or where do we go wrong, but where are the good stuff, you know. I think you can give a balanced perspective, okay, or at least a different perspective on things, and then you can balance it out as you express yourself. But it really can begin something new, a new chapter, a new era for people. And of course, it's a relatively personal and emotional and an abstract experience, but it does make a huge difference. The way that we see reality itself changes, right? So Pluto is the planet of transformation, and Pisces is about fears and illusions as well as imagination and spirituality. So transforming fears into hope and love, transforming, a blocked mind, or I'm also getting ADHD. Yeah, if you struggle with the lack of focus, I feel like you have struggled, but you've learned how to work with it or deal with it, or kind of transform it to not being the case anymore. Something like that, okay? It's very interesting stuff. I think everyone's a little bit different here, so I can't give like very exact descriptions of the job itself. But these are the skills and the purpose of your career, basically, that's most suited for you. Apart from that, this is also for counseling, consultations, connecting with people abroad from different backgrounds, different cultures as well. Maybe you're skilled at different languages, or you're very natural at learning different languages, and through that as well you can connect with people all over the world. What else? Traveling overseas, that can be very beneficial, or connecting with people overseas as well can be interesting. The journalism is again coming up, but again, it's such a different perspective. It's such a different perspective. It's widening the perception that we have of what truth is. Yes, like reaching a whole new level of truth, basically. That is so deeply, life-changing and transformative, not only to you, but everyone else that experiences it. Ninth house is also about philosophy, so that can be something you're interested in. Yes, you do have to think a lot with that, but it can be something that excites you very much, or you're passionate about it, you enjoy doing this, it's quite fulfilling. Yes, okay, so that's what I have for you, Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading helps you out, that it resonates and provides you some useful insights. Let me know your thoughts. If you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye. Hi Pile 4, welcome to your reading. Let's see what career choice would be most suitable for you. So we'll get some more tarot cards, but let's get started with this. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Two of Swords, Moon in Libra with peace. And we have the Seven of Swords, Moon in Aquarius with futility. Okay, let's get 2 more cards for pile number 4, please. So far I'm getting strategy, working from behind the scenes, helping people with addictions. 2 more cards, please, for pile number 4. We have 6 of Cups, Sun in Scorpio with pleasure. Yeah, this is the addiction or obsessive behavioral patterns. 1 more card, please. People who are stuck in the past or struggle to be in the present. And we have 5 of Cups with Mars in Scorpio with disappointment. Yeah, so destructive tendencies, people who sabotage themselves or have a negative way of seeing things. Mars in Scorpio can be quite survival mode. So I think you're someone who can step things up for people through your advice or through your perspective, to step outside of intense emotions and destructive tendencies into seeing the brighter side or observing the opportunities in every scenario. I'm also sensing strategies on coping mechanisms. I think strategy, planning, organization, standing out, developing your USP, things like this can be some things that you're good at. Seven of Swords can be quite good at branding because it accepts that it stands out and is different from the rest. So instead of opposing that difference, it starts to appreciate and embrace it. We have two moons coming up, and both of them are in air signs. So it can mean that you can process emotions very coherently, and therefore you can help others do the same. And especially like subconscious thinking, subconscious programming can be more of a focus for you. Okay. With Seven of Swords, it's like traditionally, many people would associate that with deception and cheating and lying and manipulation and all of that, but it also symbolizes how we lie to ourselves, how we deceive ourselves and manipulate ourselves. So you can sense when someone is taking away their own power or their own energy, or giving into influences that take away power and energy from them, which again limits the perspective of everything and kind of diminishes the purpose of difficult times in life. The purpose of that is to propel you towards a different way of being. If you don't like something, it's good to know that you don't like a certain thing, so you don't keep living in that or don't keep repeating that. So but I really love the moon in air signs because you have the skill to be very logical about emotional or emotionally intense situations, so you don't get carried away or washed away with any difficulties. The power of transformation is very loud and clear with, Scorpionic energies. Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, so it's not always like, brash and survival mode, and survival mode is not the worst thing. That's how we have even evolved. That's why we are still alive. That's why we are still progressing, right? So I'm not going to say that that's a bad way to be, but I think you also have the ability to recognize that yes, this has power, but we need to move ahead into a creative space for ourselves, for our relationships. Especially people who struggle because of their addictions or obsessions in maintaining or creating relationships. I think you can help those people out very much. The Ace of Cups indicates that this is very heart-centered. You have unconditional love and support to give, or at least other people feel that in your presence. You have this creative nature, but because aces are the beginning of things, there can be a level of lack of experience, or there's an idealistic perspective on things. And again, that's not like a bad thing or something. There's no good, bad. In all my readings, I try to, keep a very neutral perspective on things. It is as it is, right? It is as it is. Some people enjoy some things, some people don't. It's not really for me to say how you should feel. But the Ace of Cups is basically indicating that nascent energy where it's like, the world can be rosy, the world is beautiful, and everyone deserves love and to be loved and all of that. And while it is idealistic, there's nothing wrong with that. And yes, that is something that we need to strive towards. So it's very nice that you are connected to that inner essence that remembers eternal love or understands unconditional love. The way that you express yourself within relationships and within communities as well can be quite inspiring or transformative for other people. Six of Cups indicates that especially childhood wounding could be something that you have worked through yourself. Maybe you've stood out, you were different within your family structure, and you've just had to pave your own path. And in that process, you had to come across crossroads and disappointments and, not having things go your way. But because you were able to stay focused on your heart, and that you were able to protect and keep your heart open, that has guided you or will guide you towards a much better future where you can help others do the same. Six of Cups also indicates that your past has the answers to whatever you are struggling with at this time or in the future. Because Two of Swords can symbolize that indecision, feeling stuck and that stalemate type of energy, because you're considering the pros and cons of a situation, and it can feel as though, you know, technically all career paths seem natural based on the skills that you have, and you can go the more traditional route, but you can also take on something unconventional. You know, things are shifting and moving, so there's just way too many moving factors, and it might be very hard to draw up a very conclusive pros and cons list. But the best thing about this is that when logic doesn't work, you can listen to your intuition by letting go of what you can't see, because there are many other influences that are unseen, right? So having faith in the bigger picture is very important, and to keep oriented towards your aspirations. Improving focus is something that you can do, but focus in a constructive way, not in an obsessive way. Knowing when to let go of focus is just as important as knowing when to focus, right? And following that heart and helping others do the same can be, you know, it is a very strong ability. Not everyone has that capability, to remind people of love or remind people of you know, their emotions. Especially in many scenarios now, it's like, you know, ignore your feelings. That's like something that we kind of hear a lot, I guess, or it's something that people operate on even if they don't talk about it explicitly. So keeping your heart open in such a space is such a gift. Okay, things you wanted to do in your childhood, your hobbies and things you just did for fun and you could keep on doing and lose a sense of time and space, you just were in that world, that can be something that you are meant to carry forward. Six of Cups is that childhood self where you just felt good playing, enjoying and being with loved ones and all of that. And Ace of Cups is remembering that root feeling and root love. And in that case, if you go from that space, you can use your strategy and your, you know, pros and cons abilities, or your ability to decide basically, in a way that you can let go of things that are toxic to you, where you're like, you know, this does not align with what I've always wanted to be, and now I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing, or I don't want to be doing something that I don't want, right? I don't want to give in to the convention. And yes, that might make you seem like a rebel of sorts, but at the same time, this is your life and your consequences. So I think ultimately you're making choices that are based on your unique individuality, even if for a moment you choose what is best for survival and security. I mean, different lives, different stages of life also occur. At some point, we absolutely do need the security above creativity, but at some point, we're like, okay, well, next we have to establish ourselves individually, or we need to contribute to humanity in some way, or I need to do some things for myself instead of other people for once, you know. Things like that can, different people, different scenarios, take it as it resonates, but either way, you're moving to a space of increased passion for what you have always wanted to do, or what you have always done in some level. I'm also seeing that you're quite intelligent. Okay, quite intelligent. And again, that the power of the mind, the power of the brain is like, it's such a gift, but it can also be undoing given the quality of the thoughts, right? Thoughts make matter, they can make creation, they can alter timelines, they can change the space and change your space basically because of the perspective that you contain within any given moment. You also have powers of manifestation is what I hear. Scorpio is very strong with that, and your emotions are very powerful in making that happen. But because we have air signs as well, your thoughts can make or break that manifestation. You can have the best of wishes, but if you stand in your own way, then it cannot come into fruition. Aligning the mind, body and soul, especially the mind and the emotion, that is something that I think you can do. Perhaps you can teach manifestation, but you have something very different to offer. Rebelling against the norms. The Seven of Swords is a natural rebel, rebelling against the norms, but with a purpose. That's when it stands out in a constructive sense, where it actually becomes a force. Okay, what else do we have for pile number 4, please? Oh, I was not asking any question yet. Pile number 4, ideal, or rather, most suitable career choice. Scorpio is also about therapy, by the way. Therapy, counseling. Oh, we have another Scorpio energy coming in with rise, which is transformation and transcendence of current limitations. Rising above the ashes, rising above the problems, seeing it from a different perspective. Like, okay, so Scorpio has 3 emblems, okay? One is the scorpion, which is land-based, and it is always in that survival mode because it needs to be, but it does not try to attack unless it feels attacked, right? It's only a defense mechanism. That's why I was getting that you have learned many defense or coping mechanisms, and you know why or how those things operate. From what level are you coming from when you, let's say, combat with addictions versus when you're very excited and passionate about art and creation and things like that. So in that way, you can help people rise above their own limitations. Okay. And the second emblem that I'm talking about is the eagle. So basically the point is, when you change your perspective, you change the way that you respond to the problems, right? So the land-based, you can only see what's in front of you. So you don't know exactly if you're under attack, you just feel under attack, so then you go for your defense mechanism, not you specifically, but people. Meanwhile, as an eagle, you're soaring above the earth, you're air-based now, so you can see and understand other perspectives. You can see multiple sides to the same story. So the way that you respond to danger is going to, of course, be a lot more chill because you know more than the thing that is attacking you, supposedly. You might even see it as not an attack, but as a different perspective or something else. A blessing in disguise, maybe. The 5 of Cups is all about that. You know, there are 2 cups that are falling that is not in the vulture's grasp, and that's exactly what is going to land and lead to something much more fulfilling, much more aligned with the heart and the soul's truth. And finally, we have, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, we have your past supports your future. That's literally the 6 of Cups. Ooh, I'm getting chills. And it's summer. So, wow. Okay, and card number 11, which says that you're either showing a new perspective or there's a new beginning that's coming in soon. And this initiation, the difficulties you've had, they have acted as initiations and for purging of karma and releasing of previous tension as well. So if you've had like a difficult childhood or a tough family background, perhaps unconsciously or consciously, you know, not everyone is intending to cause harm to their children or anything. But regardless if that has been the effect, then there has been a purpose for that. There have been a lot of things that you've learned, like recognizing your individuality, being okay with standing out, and knowing that you are capable of a lot more than you would otherwise give yourself credit. You know, there are many things that you can learn depending on your specific circumstances, of course. But whatever it is that you have been learning in the past, it is going to help you propel forward. And also the childhood hobbies and passions that we were talking about, which you played with complete purity and complete creation and joy, that is going to lead you forward. So I think doing that, and if you can't quite remember because it has been suppressed for far too long, it's time to start exploring, you know, start jogging your memory, talking to people from back in those days and see what you guys used to do. Talk to your childhood friends maybe, or go back to your childhood home. Sometimes visiting the same location can revive certain memories, or eating certain things, listening to certain music of that era can also remind us of that time. So that can absolutely help. Okay, then what else do we have for pile number 4, please? Most suitable career choice, pile number 4. I'm also getting that a phase of life has either come to a close or will, and the new phase is a lot brighter, much more free, liberating. I'm hearing freedom in your own skin. Freedom in your own skin. Okay. is something you'll feel in the new phase. I choose to learn through love. Oh yeah, because, you know, sometimes, so people might think that, okay, complaining, criticizing, and scolding could be the best way to, you know, teach a child or teach a person, but not everyone learns the best through that. Tough love is not always the best for each and every person. You gotta know who you're dealing with before you kind of decide how you're going to convince someone or teach someone something. So I think you can learn much better through encouragement and through love and acceptance. So the first place to begin there is to love yourself and accept yourself unconditionally. Choose to learn through love from you. And that is what you will invite from the outside as well. Because of your manifestation abilities, I'm sensing that quickly your surroundings will change very quickly as soon as you get to this state of self-love or acceptance of who you are and your individuality. You're being more drawn to people who show you the right path instead of taking away things from you, or people who cause criticism, disruptions, and a negative workspace where it's all like negative conditioning, or like if you stand out you will have bad consequences and you will be destroyed and you will be a social pariah or something. That might not work for you. Like, well, you know, then so be it, or whatever else your reaction is. But people who talk very nicely, or they're approachable, they're more accepting, I think such an environment is a good idea. Okay, then we have attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. Yeah, it says more about the people who showcase these behaviors than it does about you, really. So if someone has kind of attacked you verbally or otherwise, or has created a fearful surrounding, has been very critical and judgmental of you being different or you having different opinions or anything different, really, standing out of the norm or standing out of the crowd, then it says more about their inability to embrace their own individuality, and they feel stifled, but they don't recognize this. So their coping mechanism then becomes, well, hate on everyone who does that then, because I can't be like that. It's sort of the misery loves company type of situation, but it's not, because it's not a conscious decision. It just so happens that they're asking for comfort, but they're doing so in a very, you know, roundabout way. So this card I really love, because then it helps you accept the people who have done wrong, because you understand that they didn't do this consciously, and if they were aware of all of the consequences that their small words and actions create in the world, even to one person who is going to be a part of humanity, they would not do that. Okay, just the fact that they are ignorant of certain things, or they are blindsided by their own emotions and disappointments, that's what creates all of these ripple effects of actions and you know, words and whatever that can be disruptive to these surroundings. Okay, and by acceptance I don't mean please welcome them into your house and live with them and share your food and, you know, share the same air and everything. That's not what forgiveness necessarily means. It's just that you stop blaming certain things and you take ownership for the life that is now, that your soul has chosen to go through certain journey and learn certain lessons, because it is going to absolutely help it return to a more empowered state of being as the soul already is. Right? So through your career, by expressing your individuality, being compassionate to others, maybe helping others out through similar situations, activism is absolutely a thing you could do. But I think you have a more esoteric twist to it. Perhaps you have some lessons and philosophies that you've learned through the whole process that is going to help you help others step outside of, you know, difficult situations like this where we struggle with tough emotions. We have purple coming up twice here, we have blue coming up twice, and red as well coming up thrice. Okay, so purple is about your crown chakra, which means you're channeling divine wisdom, and your imagination and your mind is your big asset. And the reds talk about the survival instinct and the power to create, the power to create your own security, to trust the earth instead of feeling as though you have to carry the earth or others have to carry the earth. depending on which space of life you are in at this time. And with the blues, we talk about the throat chakra, which is your power of communication and communicating compassionately. Okay, blue is a soothing color. It's about speaking your truth unapologetically, but in a nice way. Like, you can express yourself and you don't need to enforce that on other people, but at the same time, you don't need to take on other people's enforcements either, right? There's such a sweet balance that comes in with each and every chakra here. Being guided by the divine, but not being overly obsessed with that, having manifestation powers, but at the same time not needing to manifest each and everything so consciously or so deliberately, because it's natural. The reds and the oranges is talking about your ability to create, but not being obsessed with escaping certain responsibilities. Just because something is material does not mean we have to be materialistic, Finding that very perfect balance, I think you can absolutely do that. If you are a Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, or you have very heavy planets, personal planets in that zodiac, you might feel that you have the tendency to swing between extremes. Sometimes you have life that's just absolutely awesome, or you have many friends, and then next moment you're left alone, or next moment you don't have much. And then this swing kind of teaches you something, that, neither extreme is the best idea, and that we must always strive to find that balance of emotion, of intention, of everything. Okay, so the moon in Libra here is that strive to find that balance, and what you're balancing is your topmost chakra, your bottommost chakra, and also your throat, which is the pivot point, which translates that higher wisdom into practical implementation, into action, divinely directed action and establishments. The connections that you form beyond this phase of transformation are going to be so important to not only to you. Okay, I feel like you lose that dependency on people. You're like, I'm fine by myself and I'm really fine with other people as well. I don't think you will have a strict preference, but other people can find your advice, your contribution so beneficial, that your intentions are just so clear, or that you have such experience, you've been through such stories or such situations, that your perspective is unique. Nobody can imitate you, and the things that you have to offer are inspired by experience. It's just so very admirable. The fact that you stand out and do your own thing is very admirable, honestly. And following your heart, follow your passion. I think that's one of the lessons that you will teach through your career. And therefore, following your heart and passion and intuition is very important for you for your career. Now, because it says something related with childhood, this is going to be very different for everybody. So I can't really name specific job descriptions, but I hope you get the gist. But let's see a little bit more. Maybe we get some more hints. Pile number 4, please. Suitable career choice. We have Gemini, Saturn, and the 3rd house. Okay, so communication. Communicating responsibly, collectedly, and breaking free of restrictions, showing a different way of thinking, and releasing people from toxic mental habits, coping mechanisms like we talked about, but also creating new thought patterns and new structures that can enable future cognitive development. Wow. Linking the mind with the body. Saturn represents our bones. So I'm getting the thought structures, brain development, you might be even good at like creating templates for like social media, or if you write blogs or articles, if you're more of a writer like that, then you can have like a way of presenting that is conventional but at the same time very different. Something about society and the structures that we have, the hierarchy that we have, you can illuminate people as well. I feel like you understand why we are the way we are, like we as society or we as a community, through your personal experiences, but also I think working with other people or learning from your community can have been a very important standpoint. Perhaps some of you have elder siblings, and this might be a specific scenario, but they might have faced a lot of injustice that made you more compelled to stand out and not be the same. And I feel like if you have an elder sibling, they were more stuck to the way things have been, and maybe they but like they feel helpless given that situation. And that's kind of adding to the fuel that you already have to make something different happen. But being bogged down by negative thinking is not going to help. And I don't think you're being bogged down by it, but there can be phases where you slip into that. But yes, that's where doing things that you enjoy or have enjoyed is going to help you step outside of that. And it's not because that's a distraction, okay? Please, it's not a distraction. You might feel like that's so different from what I'm dealing with that it's not possible to go back to that, but it's not really the case from the cards and the links that's forming here, because I feel like doing this is going to give you a different perspective of your ongoing issues or ongoing problems that your family or your environment is dealing with. And because each and everything has a philosophy, we just don't look for it, we don't ask for it, sure, but it does have it. Like, for example, I do astrology, and before doing astrology I used to be either extremely focused on the right now, and I'm like, oh my god, what will happen now, what will happen now, what will happen now, or I was thinking like 1 year ahead and 3 years ahead and the 5 years ahead, for which I had no control. I could not plan for 5 years later because I don't know what else will happen. But as I make these astrology posts and astrology videos for you guys, it's like I'm only 1 to 2 months ahead. That's it. That's the maximum that I do. And 1 to 2 months ahead, I can do something about. And because I'm constantly in that type of vibe, I'm not overly fixated on the problems right now or any hecticness that's right now, nor am I overly fixated on how will my life look like and how is my future self and how well am I doing 5 years down the line or 3 years down the line. That'll come when it comes, but let me deal with what is available here. It has helped me limit my perspective for the better, because now I'm worried even less. And yes, in my mind before astrology, I was like, well, astrology is very different from what I'm doing in life or what I'm dealing with in life, but not really. Now that I put two and two together, it actually helps me deal with everything else. So something like that is coming your way. Your hobbies and your childhood self has just valuable insights that can help you with everything that you're concerned with and everything you can help through your career. I think there is a real community focus, not community, but network focus, and you can make people feel very personal whenever you talk, or you can really create a deep impact on people through your words or through your ideas. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading resonated, that it helps you out, and that it gives you plenty of insights to go on. Let me know your thoughts, and if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.